sometimes people discuss who Kickstarter is for and who's allowed to use it and who isn't. And I think this is a really strange discussion because it's really, at least in my opinion, Kickstarter is available for everyone. You don't have to be indie, you don't have to be, you know, poor even. I mean, like, people say, oh, you know, Spike Lee shouldn't kickstart his movie, Zach Braff shouldn't kickstart their movie. But my question is, why not? Why shouldn't they be able to? And I mean, I guess a lot of the arguments are, oh, that's not who it's for. But I mean, you know, Kickstarter allows these people to do it, so I don't know if you can tell Kickstarter who it's for. I think Kickstarter is really a way for people to put their money where their mouth is and say, I want this to exist. Like, for example, you know, if Yukio Futsagi were to kickstart a new Panzer Dragoon, even if the money were like 100% going to Sega and lining their pockets, right, I would throw down a ton of money because I love Panzer Dragoon. I want to see that happen. I want to make that possible. So, I mean, you know, it doesn't matter to me if Sega is stealing the money or not. You know, if Yu Suzuki were doing a new Shenmue, right, like, just take my money, please. It doesn't matter to me as a fan because, you know, I want to see that happen. I want to be a part of that. And I think that's the real thing about Kickstarter is it allows you as the community to get involved, to feel like you're part of something, you know, either through community interaction with the creators or just saying, you know, this wasn't going to happen until I drop down some money. I don't know, I think it's strange to say that, that other people, you know, established people shouldn't be allowed to do that, right? Because, you know, even if they have the money already, you know, the game's going to get made either way. You know, the people who back projects on Kickstarter, I don't think are naive. I don't think they, you know, feel taken advantage of. I mean, unless the project doesn't actually ship. So, I mean, like, you know, if Konami said, hey, the only way Silent Hills is going to happen is if we raise, you know, $10 million on Kickstarter, then, you know, I'll mortgage my house. No, I don't own a house. But, I mean, like, you know, I could see myself giving to that, even if, you know, again, it's Konami is just doing it to see how much money people will spend, right? And I think that's okay because, you know, they're not taking advantage of the backers. I know, you know, who's developing the game, and I know, you know, how much they're asking for, and I know how much I'm willing to pay for the rewards I'm getting. And I think that's something that people think, you know, they say, oh, Kickstarter's an investment platform, but you're not really getting anything other than the rewards. You're basically being part of a community, and you're giving as much as you feel comfortable with in order to get the rewards. And I think the rewards it's a sort of a nebulous concept. I think to me as a backer and as a project creator, I think the rewards are much more than, you know, the physical trinkets or the digital files. I think the rewards are being part of something. Like, I'm proud I backed Broken Age. I'm proud I was able to be part of that movement. That's something that excites me, and I love the final product. But it's cool that I was part of that. And then I feel, you know, dumb that I missed out on some other cool projects that I would have liked to be a part of. Like, there's some film projects, like What We Do in the Shadows did a a Kickstarter for getting a U.S. theatrical release, and the movie was awesome. And I'm like, man, I wish I would have participated in that Kickstarter, been part of that. But I didn't. I just missed it. I don't really check the film projects, and I've been really busy, so I haven't checked Kickstarter as religiously, but I used to be like super Kickstarter addict. I think I've backed over like 100 projects, many of which have been unsuccessful, but it used to be like, new game project, take some money, just, it was fun to be part of that, and I would monitor Kick Track, and my wife would make fun of me, like, oh, you're checking Kick Track again, and then I'd check like at 8 p.m., and then I'd check at 9 p.m. Pacific, which is when they roll over the days and have the new estimates and stuff. I mean, like, I love Kickstarter. I love, having a project and being a project creator on Kickstarter, and I love being a backer on Kickstarter, and I think that it's a really great thing, and I think it's silly to say, who can and can't, how indie do you have to be, because I don't think Kickstarter's about being indie. I think Kickstarter's about creating a community, banding together and making something cool, because you really feel like you were part of that thing, and so if that thing is, an indie project that's, just needs a little bit of funding, that's cool. If it's a potato salad and you want to be part of that, that's cool. If if you want to be, part of some, big development where, that's funded by publishers or something, I don't know. Some people were speculating that eventually, Square Enix would be putting like the next Tomb Raider on Kickstarter or something, and Square Enix is already sort of weirdly dabbling in Kickstarter with the collective sort of thing, where they basically vet your project and then get a cut, which is weird. I mean, I don't know as a project creator what sort of benefits they offer. I mean, to me, since we've done a Kickstarter and can do one again, there's no barriers, and that's one of the great things. So I don't know if I'd really want to get Square Enix involved, but I mean, I don't know, some people do, and I think there's been some successful projects with that, especially once they switched away from Indiegogo. But I mean, I think some of the collective projects have made more than Neverending Nightmares, so I don't know, maybe Square Enix helped. But I mean, to me, I don't want that sort of barrier. I don't want that extra party involved. I want to be working with the community. And, I think even if I were, Zach Braff, or even if Steven Spielberg wanted to do it, right? If he's, kickstarting Jaws 2, I'm game, right? Like, they've already made way too many Jaws, but you see what I mean, right? Like, just the idea of, someone who clearly could get the money elsewhere, Steven Spielberg, says, I want to work with the fans on this one. I don't want to work with financiers, right? Like, why is that a bad thing? And so I think that's a really amazing thing about Kickstarter and crowdfunding, and why it should be open to everyone, right? Like, I mean, there was like Shaq Fu was a thing, like, oh, why doesn't Shaq just pay for the video game? And, but, it got, I don't know, like 400K or whatever, and I think like a lot of the rewards were like hanging out with Shaq, right? But I mean, if you're a fan of Shaq, paying to hang out with Shaq may be your dream come true, right? Like, so if that's available to you, why not? Why is that a bad thing? So I mean, to me, I think Kickstarter should be open to everyone, because it's up to the backers, up to the Kickstarter community to vote with their dollars if they think a project is worthy, if they think it's successful, or should happen. And I mean, I think overall the Kickstarter backers are pretty savvy, and I mean, I think everyone was excited about like a Eternal Darkness follow-up, but I mean, backers and the community were a little scared of I think it was called Shadow of the Eternals pitch, and I think rightly so. I think I backed it for like $1 just to get the updates or something. But I mean, like that seemed like a risky project, and you know, so I mean, even that, you know, consumers voted with their dollars and said, hey, maybe this team isn't the one to bring us a new Eternal Darkness. So anyway, I think, you know, people shouldn't say, you know, Kickstarter isn't for this and isn't for that. You know, it's not for potato salads. It's for serious struggling artists. Why not, right? Why can't it be for potato salads and for struggling artists, right? Like, if I want to give someone $20 for a joke or whatever, $100 for a joke, right? Like, if I'm getting enjoyment from being part of that joke, why does that, you know, make the platform worse? Why does that hurt, you know, people like myself who are trying to create, you know, serious emotional projects that are important to us, right? Like, I mean, that's like saying, you know, comedy movies disgrace the art form of you know, film in general, which I don't think anyone makes that argument because it's silly.